Hello, Tamara here. Nice of you to join me today. In today's video, we're going to be starting a new album, and I'm going to be using the craft dies from Creative Expression that have been designed by Lisa Horton. Love them, absolutely fallen in love with these dies. This one here, this scalloped square, is my most favourite. I love it, I really do. It's so versatile and it looks beautiful. It's so pretty. So you can see they all layer up together, which is brilliant. So we'll be using that, definitely be using that one. Then we've got, I haven't even cut these yet, so these are very strokeable. They're brand new to me. They've been out a couple of months now, but I haven't die cut these yet. I've seen them and they look amazing, so I'm looking forward to using these. So these are the broken tiles, and I've got a set of 4 here. So we've got Circular Dreams, Sunny Days, Botanical Dragonfly, and the Mesh. I love them all. I really don't know which one I'm going to... I think I'm going to use all of them in our book, but I don't know which one I'm going to put on the front. But we'll decide that as we go through the video. So these tiles, you get 7 in a set. You get the outside cutting edge, then you get an inside cutting die that will cut out the shape, and then you'll get like a decorative feature that you can then cut out. So, but you can use these however you want. So if you don't want to use this the full cutout tile, take that away and then just cut into your base layer. That would be, I think that's what I may do actually. I think I'm going to have a go at that. So you get quite a few different effects. These mix and match, so if you didn't want to have the circles with these flowers, you could put the butterfly, or you could put the other flowers in there. Or if you didn't want the dragonflies here and you wanted the flowers, you could mix and match and put the flowers there. So it all mixes and matches, which makes it such a versatile collection to have in your crafty arsenal. So a little bit about those, of what we're going to be using. I will put a supply list of what I've used in the video at the back. So if there's anything that you want to go and purchase yourself or want to know what I've used, then I'll put the supply list at the back. I won't put links to shops, only for the fact is when I've bought it you may get it cheaper somewhere else. So I'll just put the products of what I've used, and then if you just do an internet search, you then should be able to find what it is that I've bought elsewhere. Okay, so we're going to be making our own memory book, as I said. I've started making one up already, but we're going to do this online. So what I've done, this one is a 5.5 by 5.5 size album, and then I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 pages in this one. So you know, you can get quite a lot in. And if you didn't want, I've got a 1/4 inch gap between each of my hinges. If you wanted a bigger hinge, then I would suggest you would score your pages, score these at a 3/4 inch. I've gone a 1/2 inch on these, but again, entirely up to you how you do it. As we go through the video, I'll show you how to make these, so fear not. So, right, for the start of what we need to do, I'm using grey board. Now this grey board is 960 GSM, so it's a nice weight grey board. So it's pretty sturdy. As you can see, I'll do the bend test. I don't want to bend it too much because it'll crack it and break it. But as you can see, I'm bending quite a lot there, so it's quite a firm grey board. If you haven't got grey board, don't worry. You can use cereal boxes cut down. I would suggest sticking two sides together so that you've got a thicker piece of card. But failing that, if you are like me and have lots of parcels delivered, you will probably end up with the envelopes that has got the A4 envelopes that have the board at the back to keep things flat. Don't throw those envelopes away. Keep them. Take off the outside edge of the envelope, so the sort of the craft brown card. Take that off and just use the backing board, and that backing board will probably be the same weight as this. So that's another way to recycle and to reuse what we've already got. So with that being that, we're going to need obviously two covers. So we're going to cut these down to 5.5 inches each. So that's one. And one side, should I say, so 5.5 by 5.5, so that's one of my sides, and then again 5.5 by 5.5. Okay, so that then is our back and my front and back cover. Then we need to do the spine. Now the spine, so the grey board we need to, for our spine, so this part here, we need to cut that at 3 inches. So that one is a bit too small. That's a bit too small, so we're going to have to cut into another. So 3 inches. By 5.5. Okay, 3 inches by 5.5. So then that is then our front, back and spine cut. Now the other thing that I use is a 12 by 12 craft card. Now this craft card I get from Anna Marie Designs. For me personally, this is the best craft card I found. I like the fact that it's got a smooth, almost glossy, I wouldn't say glossy, it's because it's not a glossy, it's got sort of a smooth coating over the top, and then on the other side you've got a different colour. So if I turn them that way, you can see they're quite noticeable there. So, oh, stop unfocusing, that's it. So let me, I don't know if, there we go, sorry. Right, so you can see there that they're quite noticeable in different colours, the different the different sides. I personally like to use the darker colour, because that is sort of my front colour, but again, personal choice. You may have found a different craft card that's all found well, use that. This to me, I like it. It comes in it comes in A4, 12 by 12, and I think they also do a A3 version as well. So yeah, my favourite card to use. So what I need to do is we're going to stick, well, I'm not going to stick, we're going to just hold the two pieces together, and we're going to cut them at the same time. That then hopefully that will then give us a nice straight line. So we're going to have an inch either side of our grey board, because this is the cover that's going to go over the top. So we've got our grey board at 5.5, so we need then to cut our craft card at 7.5. So let's go 7.5, and then cut straight down like so. Okay, don't throw this end bit away because this will come in handy if we do flips and flaps and things like that, and also for doing when we come to do our hinges in a moment as well. So we've got our 2 pieces of card now cut. Now I'm going to turn them over because I want to work on my B side, so to speak. So I don't want this sort of showing. Now I'm just going to measure something quickly and see whether or not, okay, 9, okay, I'm going to try this. I didn't do this before, but let's try it. So we're going to cut our one of the cards down to 9 inches. So let's just take that, cut that down to 9 inches. Okay. Now I'm going to leave the other one to be that long one because that we can cut off in a moment. So next job is to measure our the depth of our fold. So we said we were going to do a 1 inch fold over, so just mark up 1 inches on one side and then 1 inches on the other side like so. Okay, so we've got a nice border. Now I'm just going to put our pieces on just to give me a rough idea, because what I want to happen is I want this, I want our spine, where we're going to join the 2 pieces together, I want that kind of in the middle, but it's not in the middle at the minute. So what I'm going to have to do is taking our spaces. Now this is just 2 pieces of the same sized grey board, and that's going to act as our spacer in between our front covers, our front and back cover. So just add that like that. This is just, as I say, it's just a rough guide, just to give me a rough estimate. So there, and then that one will go there, so that's going to be, so I want to cut this, so I want to put our so because this is the 3 inch, this needs to, so our centre line is 1.5, and again our centre line is 1.5, 1.5. So I'm just going to draw down that, and that then is our centre line. Okay, there we are. And then, so I'm just going to draw 1, 2, and work out what that is. So I'm then going to cut this off here, this bit here. Okay, so this here I'm going to cut off. Okay, I think. Is that going to? No, actually I'm not going to cut it off, I'm going to leave it, because that then hopefully is going to be the centre, which it will be. Wrong thing. It's just off centre. It's because I've not got these. yeah, so that is my centre line, so that will go that way. Okay, so I'll get my centre line on the outside. Okay, so that's fine. So I'm not going to cut that off, I'm going to leave that. It's going to be our glue strip. Okay, so I'm going to turn, so what I'm going to do to get that is I'm going to line them up like so, draw a line, and then that then becomes the glue strip. Okay, and then we can glue it on, and then that then is going to give us our centre line. Our fold or our join will be in the centre of our spine. Fingers crossed that that's how it's going to work. So, taking our double-sided tape, you can cut this spine down if you want to. Sorry, not the spine, the glue tab. You can cut it down so it's just 1/2 centimetre, which is what I may do actually. No, let's leave that. Okay, so that's one. Cut that bit off. And then I'm going to use the smaller of the, so I've got a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch tape. Okay, so cut that off. Right, let's take this double-sided backing off, and then we're going to, I'm going to turn it round because I'm going to butt this up this side. So very carefully choose your line and let's stick that down. Okay, and burnish it, make sure that that is really stuck. Okay. Don't worry, this side is longer, this will get cut off in a moment. Right, now we can assemble. So now we need to get our pieces together. Now I tend to use double-sided tape on one edge of my grey board and then glue on the others. That then helps the grey board to stick straight away. So while I'm burnishing it all down and getting all the glue stuck, it's not going to move. So that then is why I use my double-sided tape on one side, like so. And right, so we start with one, take that backing off, and then I'll glue. Please glue, don't fur up. There we go. Now this is Cosmic Shimmer glue. I've used Cosmic Shimmer glue for years, absolutely years. I've used Cosmic Shimmer. Personally, it is my favourite, and that's not saying that because now I'm demonstrating for creative expression. I have used it before, way before. The other glue I do like is Tonic's Nouveau glue. That's also very good. And Kowal glue is another one of my favourites. They all do different things. I like Kowal because, especially if I'm gluing like thinner pieces of paper, you don't tend to get the glue marks that you might do with other glues. Which I seem to have found I got with the Cosmic Shimmer glue. But speaking to the legend that is Julia Watts, she gave me a tip, and she said, have you got any of those mini applicator bottles with the fine nozzle on, fine tip nozzle? I said, no, I haven't got any of those. She said, get yourself some, because that then will stop you having glue marks when you glue thinner paper. So these are, mine's a bit dirty now, but this is the the fine tip glue nozzles applicators. These are a woodware, and they come with this silver nozzle on the top and the pin. The pin then also helps you to keep the nozzle free of blockages, and you then get a nice thin line of glue. Or this is also very good for if you've got intricate dies as well. Instead of maybe putting it on your hand, you don't need to do that. You can just use the fine tip and give dots all over, and it will just give you the exact amount that you need. So thank you, Julia, for that fantastic tip. So, and we're going to stick this down now. This is our front cover. Now matching it up with our pencil lines, and then the pencil lines are also going to help us so that we stay on track, so we don't you know, start going down in a line and coming off the page. So give that a good burnish down to get all that glue distributed all over, and then that is not going anywhere, as you can see. So next then is our spine, and again with the glue, and this one I'm going to need our, oh, that was lucky, I'm going to need our spacers, and so I'm going to line up the bottom and push firmly against that spacer so that it is as tight up to that as possible. There we are. Take that away, and then again give it a good old burnish. So again, now we're on our back cover, so we can now just put our glue around that. And get our spacers again and push against it, and then burnish down, rub down so that it's nice and firm. Okay, so that then is near enough our front cover. Now what we've got now, we've got a massive big piece this side, which I said we didn't need to cut off just yet. So all we need to do is line up your ruler and just measure 1 inch like so, and then just use a pair of scissors, or if you want to you can cut it with your guillotine, but I find just a good pair of scissors, just chop that bit off, and then you end up you know, with a nice border all the way around. Don't worry about all the pencil marks because they're going to be covered. You're not going to see those, so don't worry about those. So our next job is to cut our corners down. Now a lovely lady who's one of my subscribers, she'll know who she is, put me in touch with this company here, Colorway Arts. Now this is, I don't know how, it's a corner, I'm going to say it's a corner chomper, because I don't know how else to explain it. What it happens is it's one of those tools that you think, oh, I wish I've had that in my life before. All it is, it helps us going to give us our neat corners on our edges, because there's nothing worse than making a memory book and then you haven't got, it doesn't look symmetrical and even all the way through. This little piece of kit, it's so simple. All you do is you put it over your, so you put the right angle over the corner of your grey board, hold it in place and just draw a line down. Okay, this here we're going to cut off, and that's going to give us then our lovely neat corners. Now you can do this also with a protractor, which does the trick as well. But I like my gadgets, so this to me was a gadget. So I like gadgets. So that's why I love that. So that's as simple as that. So all we're now going to do is we're just going to trim off the corners. Trim off those corners like so. And then we've got some lovely straight, neat and equal corners. Okay, so one of those tools that you think, it's a bit like my glue rubber, you don't know how you did without it. So our next job, we need to put our double-sided tape on. Now I'm going to put that on first before I start to fold, because I think it will be easier. Now I tend to put my double-sided tape along your card, and then along the grey board as well. That then helps, it's just like gives you double stick then, so to speak, so you don't start getting lifts in the paper, because there's nothing worse with having spent so much time making them, decorating them, and then the double-sided tape starts to come away, and because you haven't added enough. So I'll turn that round, and then that goes on there. So that's then that bit done. So now we need to do the grey board. I'm just going to break it off there so it's not going directly over my hinges on this side. So that's that one, and this one. There we are, this one, just take that bit off there, last two sides, and then we can start to stick it down, and there. Oh, excellent. Okay, now for the sides. Now I very carefully stand it up, and I just tend to bend the cardstock using the weight of the and the sides of the grey board to give you that natural score. Okay, so turn it over and do the same with that, and then there's my nice neat spine in the middle. I think that's a nicer way to do it, actually. See, I learn all the time as well. So again, just fold these ends up so that you've got your score. Another way you could do that if you wanted to is take your bone folder and just score down the edge. That then would give you another type of score, but don't press too hard, otherwise you'll end up going through the paper or your card, and then you have to start again because you'll have a sort of a hole. So just be mindful of that. Okay, so I'm just going to run this along the edges just to give me a nice sort of straight edge, like so. Again on this side. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push the corners in. So we're just going to fold the corners in of the edge of the cardstock there. That just folds them in, so it just makes our corners a bit more neater. Okay, so having done that, next job is we're going to now stick it together. Now I tend to stick the two long sides together first, and then I do the two ends. That way is you get, again, a very neat finish. So start by, no, hang on, stop. Don't do anything else before we do that. We need to cover our ends up here. So what we need to do is we need to now cut some hinge strips, just to, or structure strips, just to cover those holes. So just use some of your offcuts, and this has got to be 5 1/4 by 1 inch. So do your 5 1/4, and then it's by 1 inch. So you need 2 of these. 1, 2. I nearly forgot about that. So I nearly burst into song then. I was going to do a Spice Girls song. Okay, so now we've got our structure strips. What we are going to do now is we're going to score at 1/2 inch, okay, on both of them. So score down your line so it's 1/2 inch, and again on this side at 1/2 inch. Okay, and just fold them over, and then we're going to give them their natural line. Now I've done these the wrong way round, so I'm going to have to turn them the other way, because I want the wrong side facing outwards. Okay, because that's the side we're going to put our double-sided tape onto. Okay, so when these go into and they hide the gap, you see that the nice side, which is then going to, you know, emulate all the way round. So the 1/2 inch tape is too wide. Right, so we need to put then the 1/2 inch, sorry, not 1/2 inch, the 1/4 inch tape along the two outside edges, or outside parts, like so. And again on this one. And then this one. Like that. Okay, so start by taking off the double-sided tape and off one of the structure strips. Okay. Now, to do this, I'm going to bring you down just a tiny bit so that you can see. Oh, it's going to get quick. There we are. So that's our structure strip, and it's got the double-sided tape that I've just taken the backing off. Now we need to place this so that the score line is literally by eye, as you by eye it, in the middle of our gap. Okay, so don't worry that it doesn't fit the whole thing, because that's going to be covered when we put that down, as you see. Okay, so push that into place. Okay, like that. And I'm just going to lift this bit up here so that it's not, there we go, and lift this one off, there we are, and this one here can come off, that double-sided tape, and that one. Okay, so now for our next one, again double-sided tape, take the backing off, like that, fold over, and again by eye it, oh sorry, out of shot there, and put it in the middle, put that score line in the middle of the gap. Okay, like so, and then burnish that side down. I'm just going to move you out again. Oops, sorry. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. It seems not to, doesn't want to be focusing this morning. Stop it. Okay, now I can take this tape off and push that down so that they're nice and secure. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick this side down here for now. So again, push down so that you get that nice stick. Make sure that your corners are pushed in. Okay, that's one. And now we're going to do the other side. Again, 1, 2. Again, just push it down. Yeah. Oops, I got a bit stuck there. That will come off. There we go. And right, now we can then work on the two edges. Sorry, the two smaller edges. So again, just push your corners in, just fold them in, so that then is going to create a nice, sort of a nice rounded corner. So just push that down. Again on this one, 1, 2, push that over. Yeah, and so then that is the base, that's then our book, sort of the outer edges done. We're just going to have to bend these now, so just going to naturally just score where that bend is, and again on this side just score, and again here just score it, and then that should hopefully give you a nice crisp bend. There we go, which it has. Okay, and then you've still got a lot of play in there, so you're not going to get this cracking here, which can sometimes happen. But then that comes with experience of when you know, doing different books. I mean, I make mistakes on all the books I make, and, you know, and then that's how you learn, because then you think, oh well, I won't do that on the next one, or I'll do this one, you know, I'll do it differently next time. So you know, it's all a learning curve, even for me. Right, I'm going to have a quick tidy up, and then when we come back we're going to be sticking in our hinges. We'll put that to one side. We need to get our trimmer, and we'll need the offcuts that we cut off the 12 by 12s for the cover of our memory book. So we're going to cut this down to 5 1/4. Now the reason we cut it, it's not 5 1/2 the same as the outside of the memory book, is because the pages that I'm going to use, the dies that I'm going to use, I want it to be that, you know, I want it to be that size really. So right, so for the for the hinges, it's 5 1/4. Then we turn around and we do, I think think it's 3.5 is our first one. It's 3.5 by 3. That way, sorry, that way. By 3. No, I knew that was going to be too short. So 5.25 by 3. Then by 2.5, so 5.25 by 2.5. And then we're going to do one at 2. So one of these, right? No. Oh, that's just shy. So keep these off bits. I just need to do one more, and I'm just going to just get an off cut that I've got. I must have loads of tiny pieces here. There we go. There we go. Same one. So 5.25 by 2. Okay. You don't have to do as many pages as that. You can do less. I just wanted some a book with a lot of pages in this time, so I thought let's go for it. So with this, now I'm going to score on the back side of it, so that's the lighter side. So if you can see there, it's this side we're going to score onto. Or are we? Tell a lie, we're going to score on the right side. Okay, so it's the darker side. So if I turn that out, it's the darker side, it's this one. So we're going to score at let's go, we're going to do 1/2 inch. Okay, so score at 1/2 inch, turn it round and score the opposite side the same at 1/2 inch. Okay, and do that for all 4 of your strips of card that you've done. That's them all scored. Now we can fold them. So let's just fold them over so that we get a nice crease. And again, do that for all of the score lines. I tend to try and score from the middle and work out. Just seems to get a better score finish if you do that. Now because these I haven't got a very big gap, I've probably only got a 1/4 inch gap between each of the pages, so I'm not going to be able to bulk out this book so much, which I tend to put loads and loads into my book. So this way I thought it's going to make me go minimalist. Get that out. So we're going to find now the centre point of our spine. Now it's 3 inches, so that would be at 1.5. Again down here at 1.5, and then just draw, I'm just going to draw a line down. Now I'm only going to put a little tiny mark because I don't want my pencil marks to be seen. Okay, and that's not bad. That my join is virtually in the middle, so I've actually measured that really well. So again, just find your center point of your hinges that we've done. So that would be, there we go, I think that's roughly that's got to be half. That doesn't look right, does it? So let's go this way, that'd be better. So that is 2.5. So that would be 1.25. So it was nearly right. 1.25. Again, do that down here. 1.25. Now you can draw a line down this one because this one's not going to be seen. So I'm just going to sort of put 2 marks at the edge. Okay, and then do that with all of them. So that is 1 inch and 1 inch. So that's that one. And this one will be 3.25. No, sorry, this would be 1. So be that and that. Again, just mark. Right, now as this one is going to be showing, I would do a very, very faint line. So this one is a 1 inch, so this will be 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. There we go. So that's then all our hinges sort of, we've marked them ready to go. So now we need to double-sided tape them everywhere, all of them up. So we'll start with whichever we pick up. So you need to just I'm going to put double-sided tape on the two edges and then glue in the middle, because that's my first one. It's not as big to allow me to put the glue on as well. So I'm just going to put some on the outside of the bottom, and again outside of the bottom. Outside of the bottom. And then this is the one that goes on the right. This is the base one. Okay. There we are. So this is the one that's going to go sort of in the middle there. So we can actually just line those lines up now, because mine is I've virtually got it in the right place, which for me a measuring is no small feat. Okay, then your glue. Come on, glue. One second, get my pin. That's better. Okay, so let's get these matched up. Yeah, that's virtually in the right place. Give it a good burnish down, get all that glue distributed along the bottom. Okay. Then our next size, again, take off the double-sided tape. Now you could only do, you could do 3 of these. You couldn't, if you wanted, instead of doing 4, so that you would end up with 12 pages instead of, what have I got, 14 I think. I might have a bit more. So I've got 2, 4, 6, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 I have. Okay, so that goes on like so. So that's 2, and then the next one again. 1, 2. And then the last one, we can just put that, take the double-sided off. Like so. There we go. So we've got now sort of 16 pages, so 2 on each, so 4 on each side. I wanted to do that because I wanted a few more pages in my book, so to speak, and I've only left sort of a 1/4 of an inch gap between the leaves, so 1/4 of an inch gusset, I think that's what they call it in there. But on the middle page, because this will be my middle page here, because it's wider, because you've got like an inch for each side, I'm going to make these ones my bulky pages with a few more flaps than I am with these ones here. Right, so I'm going to leave it there for this video, and so that you can then make up the basic of it before we start then with the decorating of the book, which is that's my favourite part. So I really hope you've liked this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you have. If you've got any suggestions that you think I could add to the videos or do, then please again leave me a comment or message me over on Facebook. I'm on all of the social medias, so come and say hi on one of those. Either find me by searching my name, Tamara Morton, or Posh Cat Crafts. That's we're one of the same. Posh Cat came into being from, I had a Siamese cat, and we always called him Posh Cat because he was very posh and he'd stick his nose up in the air at people. He's one of those sort of cats, and so that's where the name Posh Cat came from, and it's kind of just stuck now, so we're one of the same. I will leave a link to videos that have already gone up in this corner here. Please become one of my subscribers. I love it when I get some new subscribers. I'm now up to 1,900. I would love to get to 2,000. I said I was going to do a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers, and sadly I haven't had time to do that. So once I get to 2,000, it's going to be a mega giveaway. So you know, tell all your friends, you know, share my videos, which I know a lot of you do, so thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I just can't believe that I've, you know, in the space of a year, you know, how it's grown really. So thank you. It's all down to you. So thank you very much. So with that being said, I'm going to now upload this video from here, and then I'll get on with the next one. So until then, bye.